All right, today we are doing lesson 6-5, factoring the sum or the difference of cubes. Now we had done difference of squares, but this is sum or difference of cubes. Okay, so there is a method to this, okay? You will either have x cubed plus y cubed or x cubed minus y cubed. Now, both the first and the second term both have to be cubes. So you've got to be able to take the cube root. Now, there's a shortcut or a way to do this, so you just kind of have to know, and here's what happens. Okay, so you end up doing x plus y, and then it is x squared minus xy plus y squared. If it is a difference, it is x minus y times the quantity x squared plus xy plus y squared. Now, there is a trick to remembering how to do this, okay? And it's called SOAP. And it has to do with the signs, okay? The first term, like the x plus y, you take the cube root. That's how you get the x, the cube root of y. But the SOAP method, and next year at the high school, because this will come up again in Algebra 2, they'll say, okay, do you remember the SOAP method? And what SOAP stands for is there are the first sign will be the same. It's a plus, it's a plus. If it's a minus, it's a minus. So same. The second sign is opposite. Okay, since the original was a plus, this one's a minus. Opposite. All right, and then the last sign, no matter what, is always positive. Always positive. Okay, so it's same, opposite, always positive. All right, so let's just see how this will work as an example. All right, so here we go. Example number 1. And actually, this is a super easy factoring method as long as you get comfortable with knowing how the method works. Okay, so x cubed plus 8. First thing you need to do in your head is, can you take the cube root? Cube root. Okay, so here is how it works. Cube root of x cubed is x. Cube root of 8 is 2. Okay, so now the first parenthesis, you do the x and the 2. Okay, and the sign here is the S for SOAP, the same, so x plus 2. Now, if you look back at the shortcut, it is x squared. So the first term squared, x squared, opposite sign, and then you multiply the 2. So 2x, always positive, and then you square it. So it'll be 2 squared. All right. All right, let's take a look at this one. Like, that's all there is to it. It's just identifying it and putting it together in its final format. X cubed plus 64. Okay. Cube root is x. Cube root of 64 is 4, because 4 times 4 times 4. All right, so that's your first parenthesis. X, since this is a plus, same sign, so x plus 4. Second parenthesis, you square the first term, so x squared. Opposite sign, and then you take the first and the second term and multiply them together, so 4x, always positive, and then you square the last term, 16. And that's your answer. All right, let's try one more. And maybe what you want to do with this one is try this one, like hit pause and see if your answer works. All right, so y cubed, y, 27, okay, that would be 3, because 3 times 3 times 3. All right, so now for this one, y and 3, same sign. So this is the first, we've got a negative, so same sign. Then you take the first term squared, so y squared. Opposite sign, so now it's a plus. 3y, because you just multiply the two together, always positive, and then you square it. 3 times 3, 9. All right, so it's just a matter of getting the hang of the process. All right, let's try another one. And again, see if you can like hit pause and work this out. 64 x cubed plus 1. All right, so now the 64. So 4x, because 4 times 4 times 4, and then the 1. All right, so you have 4x and 1, same sign. Now you square the first term, so 16x squared, opposite sign, multiply the two together, so 4x times 1, 4x, always positive, 1 times 1, 1, and done. So it's actually a pretty easy lesson. It's just a matter of you just have to memorize the process. Okay, so now let's take a look at this one. We've only got 2 more. 250 x cubed minus 128 y cubed. Okay, now the first thing you should notice, and this rule still applies, did you take out a greatest common factor? Did you take out the 2? Okay, 125 x cubed minus 64 y cubed. Now you start the whole SOAP process. Okay, so now 125, that would be 5x, 64, that would be 4y. Okay, so now you're going to have 5x minus 4y times 5 squared, so 25x squared, opposite sign, 20xy, always positive, 16y squared. Now the one thing that a lot of you are forgetting is to carry over that 2. Okay, I noticed it on the quiz, like you've got to make sure, take the greatest common factor with it. Don't forget about it. All right, one last one. Number 6, negative 2t to the 5th plus 250t squared. Okay, so now this has come up again. You don't want that first term to be a negative. Okay, t to the 5th, t to the 2nd, that's also not working as a cube. So you should take out a negative 2t squared, and then you're left with t cubed minus 125. Now see, does this work? T and 5. Okay, so here we go. T minus 5, because it's the same sign, t squared plus 5t, always positive, 25, and then make sure, bring over the negative 2t squared. So negative 2t squared times t minus 5, t squared plus 5t plus 25. Okay, now this you've got to remember is if you have a sum or difference of cubes. Okay, so now we've just added in a whole nother aspect into this for cubes. All right, that's all. I'm going to have you try working on some problems. Today's lesson was not that long. See you later.